Hey, this is Rob Anspach, and welcome to another edition of eHeroes. Now, the special guest, if you're like me and you're over 50, I think you're going to get a great kick out of Olga. Her name is Olga Szakal, and she's going to teach you how to boss up and take ownership of your life. So welcome, and thanks for being here.
Thank you, Rob, so much for inviting me. I'm very honored. And yes, that's true. The good news, if you are, let's say, over 40, at least, it's just the beginning. We are finishing writing our story. It's just another volume, not even another chapter, but probably another volume, brand new. Every day is a fresh start. And finally, finally, we don't care what other people think about us. Finally, most of us women, for example, our children are older. They can talk to us like, young adults. So you have a different quality of relationship. And yeah, so life is so much better.
I know when, well, I guess it was about when I was about 43, that's when things started changing for me. I started writing all these books and it just, I think I had more confidence as I got older because I didn't care what other people were thinking, you know.
Yeah, it's becoming like a blessing. I was talking today to one of my clients and she said, I want people to reject me. I said, amen. Because they say God's protection is
Mhm.
people's rejection is God's protection. So you want it to be protected. So they say fail sooner, fail fast. And so I'm saying get rejected sooner,
Mhm.
then you will not be disappointed. And so it's kind of can be so much more fun this way.
When I was younger, as a younger entrepreneur, I took a lot of risks, and it cost me a lot of money. And as I got older, it just seemed like I'm getting a little smarter. I can learn from those experiences, and the risks that I'm taking. Although a lot of people would still call them risks, and I might lose money, I'm not losing as much as I would have, you know, had I not had that experience being younger.
Well, that's why, Rob, you are the entrepreneur. It's what we do. We
Hmm.
take risk every day, and if we don't, we get bored, right?
Yeah. So we're in this middle now. People listening to this, it's probably going to be you know July or August by the time you guys hear this. But we're in this middle of this pandemic, and a lot of entrepreneurs, over the age of 40 and above, are panicking because their life savings is being gone. It's just disappearing. They're pumping it all into their businesses to try to keep it going, and it's a little disappointing. Any advice you have that for them?
Well, Rob, you probably heard from other people you interviewed or your clients. The good news for online marketers or for people like you and me, we have our brand online that basically we made more money. If
Hmm.
you just like have a little short survey, I asked my business peers, women, other entrepreneurial women, we made more money during March, April, and May than January and February. And I think one of the reasons is that demand for meeting online and seeing each other and having more virtual kind of business meetings. Like, for example, I heard this number. I don't know. I didn't confirm if it's true. Right now, we're using Zoom as a platform. So Zoom is a company now worth more than 5 top airlines, something like some crazy number. It's how much money they made, right? So they made more money. Why don't we? And so I started this brand, Midlife Boss, where basically my mission is, I know in my heart that if you are over 40, I guarantee 99.9%, Rob, that you had at least one personal or professional transformation, and that has to be monetized. When we
Hmm.
say monetized means go serve, and serve means share that gift with or experience or transformation with others, and then monetize, because you are entering this prosperity, and it's not a highway. I always teach my students in my academy, new coaches, money is not like highway, north and south. Some people go south, they get millions. Some people go north, it goes minus. No, it's like, let's create this circle. It's abundance. I give and I receive. You cannot receive if you don't give. But with women, especially, what I find, and why a lot of newer coaches, life coaches, wellness coaches, women especially, I'm working with women only. Rob, it's interesting. I don't know if you see that among your male business peers. We have this like feminine kind of like tendency, give, 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 give. And we don't take time to start receiving. So Midlife Boss Academy, we teach two things: how to monetize your gift by building your own online course within 2 weeks. We teach you, you can make money within 2 weeks. You don't have to wait. It's a mini course. You can try and test. And number two, I teach how to sell. How to sell means how to connect your message with the audience. And that audience, they are waiting, they're looking for you. I always say, do you know how many thousands and thousands of women are looking for you right now? And women always like, oh, thank you. So it's that validation definitely happens too.
I know a few years ago, I partnered and wrote the No Experience Necessary. It's a social media book for the boomers, Gen Xers, and over 50 entrepreneur. And, I wasn't 50 at the time. I think I was only 48. But the information in that book helped a lot of people understand that social media is just not about posting about stuff. It's about, engaging people so that you're building up your legacy. And as I get older, I want the next generation to know more about me, what I'm leaving behind, what my passions were, why I even started what I did, and that's not something I thought about when I was younger.
Yeah, bingo. You nailed it. This is it. If you ask all midlife women and men, it's the same thing. They're like, what is my legacy? What is that mark I leave behind? And I agree with you. There's this human job. You and I had this human job, maybe first half of your life, to pay the bills, to pay your student loans, to kind of prove our society that you're somebody. But especially us entrepreneurial type of people, second half can be so wonderful. It's not about proving myself to anybody. It's becoming my own boss. And when I say that, I always ask this question. And my women, 90% are in shock because I say something very like politically incorrect. I say, do you know that there's no human authority over you? Not your husband, not your significant one, not your pastor, not your teachers, not your preachers. It's you. You're the only that human authority over you. And they always freak out. Really? I can be me? I can do what I want? I was like, yes. And so you're right. This is not just about you anymore. It's about your legacy. It's that mark you leave behind, that generation behind you, right? Like what that gift, that gift or that experience, that transformation, if you don't monetize that, if you don't put it as an online course or workshop or a book, like you said, that's what is your legacy. Like you are gonna die with that song inside of you, right? That like how how they say, Rob, we all have either a beautiful song or beautiful music inside of us, and we don't share that gift with others.
As I got older, and my audience will probably know what I'm going to say because I talk about this a lot. But as I got older, I started allowing my sarcasm to shine. When I was younger, I was always careful about what I said because I didn't want to offend anybody. But now it's like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to be sarcastic and I'm going to let people, if I think that they're wasting my time, I'm going to let them know. But it kind of changed the way that people view me because they say, well, that's the sarcastic guy. But those people who stayed with me on social or continue to buy my books, they think, wow, this guy's real and I just want to follow him, But the people that don't like my sarcasm, they leave my social media, they just say goodbye. I don't have to worry about them. And it just makes life easier when I can be me.
Yes, Rob, exactly. There's a difference though. We need to really continue peeling off our labels. I call that our ego. We need to realize that mask, for example, my mask for many, many years was that Russian strong woman who never cries. And tears in Russia when I grew up was I was not supposed to show my emotions to others because that will be taken as a sign of weakness. And you're not supposed to be weak because it was a different kind of society. So I'm saying is that if we are truly shrinking our ego and we're using sarcasm, humor, and we are speaking up our truth, and it's kind,
Mhm.
it's truth, it's me, it's kind, I don't hurt you because I want to be better or because my ego wants to be bigger and more important, then yeah, continue being yourself. Just be careful that I know your heart, but I always teach women that there's a huge difference, being bitchy and complaining, oh, I just my opinion. There's
Right.
a difference between, oh, it's my opinion versus it's my truth. There's a
Yeah.
huge difference. And I think this is another benefit of entering midlife. This is beautiful, transformational period, transition, time of transition, that if you realize who you are, it's so beautiful, it's perfect,
Right.
it's a part of divine in you, it's your soul, your spirit, whatever you call it, well-being, but it's so beautiful, it's perfect, and we came from the same source. So when I recognize the humor coming from your soul, I can totally relate and match that level
Right.
of your humor and your uh, emotional kind of, maybe you're trying to influence some people
Right.
through your humor and they take it personally, who knows, right?
Yeah. So, at what age or at was there like a light bulb that went off and said, I need to start this midlife boss thing?
Yeah, it's a great question. For me, you know how they talk about midlife crisis. I'm like a witness. I can testify in the courtroom that I personally experienced what this midlife crisis is. It's basically I was waking up. I remember I woke up in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m., and my soul, my intuition was asking me, "How long, Olga? How long are you going to live somebody else's life?" And I was shocked, of course, because I lived in Seattle, 4 children. My marriage looked awesome on paper, for other people. But I saw this almost like a movie, beautiful movie. I am in the movie. My house is huge. I have real estate empire. I have rentals. But I see myself in the movie and I realize it's not my story. I'm not a producer of that story. I'm just like an actress.
Mhm.
And I don't even agree with that role. So I realized that I built something else, Rob, like not for somebody else, but not according to me.
Right.
Like I was loyal to my church, my marriage that was not going to work, unfortunately. And I thought it was my legacy. So I was willing to die for it, literally, physically and emotionally. And it was very, very hard. And what I want to say is midlife crisis, now I say to people, I want everybody to experience it because this is the time when you have to meet and realize your own BS, all your masks, all the lies you believed, all the labels. It's like literally, if you're willing to do that, maybe a couple of years going to be hard, but I guarantee, I promise. After that, that being you, like you said, people come to you and pay you thousands of dollars for being you. This is like the definition of happy life.
Right. But it took me a long time to realize that. And, I also look at some of the people that are older than I am, in their 70s and 80s, and, they're 6 minutes before they're ready to die. And they didn't live their life. They didn't do anything. And I'm like, what a waste, but they're still teaching, they're still telling their story. So we can still learn from that. And so I'm taking all those examples and I'm making my life better because I don't want to not be that person who dies and not have anything to show for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly like how like maybe before the 20th century, you go to college, you get degree, then you retire, and maybe like your legacy. I don't know. My mom's legacy was her long marriage and maybe 2 children, but there's more than this, right? Before we are 21st century, it's I'm teaching women inside Midlife Boss Academy. I'm telling women, for example, you can be your own academy. You can be your own university. This is your legacy. So, for example, I have a coach who lost 100 pounds. She personally
Wow.
went through this journey, midlife crisis. And she's like, I hate my life. I'm depressed. I feel ugly. And so it took her like 5 years, but she learned and figured out this ways. Now she teaches women how to do that, right? But it's not about losing weight. She says, Olga, I lost 50 pounds of guilt and shame. I probably lost another 30 pounds of self-hate, right? And maybe only 20 pounds of like real weight. So what I'm saying is, Rob, imagine if she just keeps this secret to herself, and she would not teach this hundreds and hundreds of women how to lose 100 pounds of guilt and shame. The same with you. Imagine if you figure out the social media methods, how to connect your message to your audience, how to maybe expand your business and other things. Imagine if you just keep that secret to yourself. Then not only it's selfish, right, but it's so unfair to those thousands and thousands of people who now follow you.
Mm-hmm. You know, I learned a long time ago, you know, anything that I try to share um, ends up in a book. You know, just anything I post on social media, you know, I recycle it into a book, or I recycle it into a blog post. I want to make sure that my message is seen everywhere. And a lot of people don't realize that you can take that message and take it all kinds of different places. You can take it in a seminar and speak from the stage. You can put it in a book. You can put it in an audio program. You know, there's a lot of people out there that want to hear from you, but they might not be on Facebook. They might not be on Twitter. They might not catch you on YouTube. You know, we have these devices, so why not put it on a podcast so they can listen to it anywhere?
Yeah, you're right. We have one of our students, she retired from medical field, and she wanted to go to Italy and live ever happily ever after. And then we got connected on Facebook, and now she is our prosperity coach. What we found out that Rob, she figured out 20 years ago she started very slow, very low and slow. She invested in stocks and stock options, and she was and now she is her own investor. And so she's not licensed or anything, but she also, we put together this beta course within 2 weeks, and she wanted only small audience, like 12 women came immediately. We didn't even advertise. And so what I'm saying is she already influenced 12 women. I came to support her. And we were talking about money blocks. We all have money blocks, even very successful people, we do. So she was very good. So she found out another gift, that she is like a life coach. She will listen to you and she'll like, what about this? It smells like another money block. So I was like, oh my gosh, Josie, I said to her, you're not the coach how to invest. You're not going to teach me this. You're more like life coach. So women went all the way to childhood wounds. They have money blocks because of their childhood. So there was a lot of recovery, a lot of healing going on. But imagine if she would not take that courageous step and say, okay, I'll try to reach and build my own audience. She still wants to go to Italy as soon as this opens up, and as soon as we can travel. She can do both now. She can take that laptop, like you said, like you and your family want to go to on RV. So my student, one of my students now, she's becoming my mentor. She's mentoring me about money blocks. And I thought arrogantly that I'm done with all the money blocks, and she found one in me recently. So it was really a fun journey.
Yeah, I mean, off the podcast, we talked about some things, and I said one of my goals was to take the family on an RV trip across the United States and Canada. You know, I've already seen parts of Europe, and I'd like to go back, but I want to see places that are in America that I've never seen before. And you know, my business is, I can take it anywhere, and so I think that there's a lot of people out there, especially when you get over 40, you have experiences that need to be shared. Other people are looking for things to do or the knowledge to gain from somebody. You can be that teacher.
Yeah, absolutely, Rob. You know, we did some market research, had a team of really cool people, and we asked, there were 140 women 2 years ago, and we asked, what do you want? Basically, we want to find out what are secret dreams and aspirations a middle-aged woman, let's say over 40, has. And one of the first words was coming up again and again: community. Women want community. Women do not want to be alone. And secondly, I want to help. It's a very feminine energy. I want to help. I want to take care. I want to love. That's very, very emotional connection. And so what I see, and tell me if you see this too, a lot of women either retire or, as I mentioned before, they become empty nesters, and they want to do something, and they are basically get converted in thousands and thousands into multi-level marketing. And I don't have anything against that. It's just not my thing. I
Right.
tried a couple of times. It's not aligned with how I like to, roll. But I see thousands of women go to multi-level marketing. So I have a message, not against anybody, but what if we can get you a community? We can teach you how to monetize your skill, how to help and share your gift without being working for another boss of your boss. What if you really, really, truly can be your own boss, right? So a funny thing that I kind of just threw this to the universe, and now 5 of my students in our Midlife Boss Academy came from multi-level marketing. And I was right, like my intuition was telling me that it works for some women, but women get there because they want community and they want to not make money. They're already good. They're pretty wealthy. By the way, women over 50, I don't know if you agree with this, but we are number 1 right now in America. We are those people who sign the biggest purchases. They looked at all the mortgage papers. It was female signature first. Car purchases, female go and makes decision. So on one hand, midlife women over 50 are very powerful, but on the other hand, we can a little bit feel like a little bit lost, like not completely, but not sure what to do. And this is my message: monetize your skill, like that transformational experience you have, but don't do this alone. Do it with us. And Rob, we are having right now 850 women in our free Facebook group. Wow. It's what I'm doing right now. And again, it's just my intuition. It's not like a business plan. As soon as women come and join my academy, I bring them to the audience of 800 women and I interview them. And one interview does something magical to that lady. And they always come back and say, this is the first time I feel understood. This is the first time in my life I feel validated. And not because of me, not personally, but because my soul allows them to be them. And I give them that taste you mentioned. You and I, we need to give people that taste instead of saying, hey, there's a better, bright future for you. But if you and I, as coaches, give them a little bit of glimpse of taste. So I'm bringing them and I interview them like you interview me right now. And I'm telling you, it's so priceless, right? It's so special because after that, they become unstoppable.
Well, how does my audience get involved? Where do they go? I mean, do you have a website?
Well, yes. So it's very simple. It's www.midlifeboss.com, 2 words, Midlife Boss. And then if they go to Facebook right now, it's a hashtag. And if they type Midlife Boss, it will take them to Midlife Boss Facebook group. But then if they want to be part of our private VIP community, Midlife Boss Academy, it's where it's different. I don't do any online courses. I don't want you to log in and click and read something. I'm there for you. And I say this, come, let's do hands-on. Let's get our hands dirty. We're building your one-page website that sells. We building your first mini course that sells. Each time you sell, somebody says, thank you. You transformed my life. Thank you. I lost 5 pounds of guilt. Thank you. I just invested and now I have a fund for my grandchild, right? So yeah, we're doing these amazing things. I'm really excited.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, I think, and as someone who builds websites, we have a lot of clients who come to us and they want these fantastic ideas and 20, 30 pages later, and it's thousands of dollars. You don't need all that. Start off small, and as you grow, if it's a 1-page site, great. If it's 2 or 3-page site, make sure that you can afford that to begin with. Make sure that it's generating sales. And then you can always build that site out bigger and better when you have more money.
Yeah, amen. Rob, amen. I believe that, how marketing, one of the very strong marketing terminology is minimum viable product. So if you think that minimal means launch, ship your course, like you can write right now, like your own course. And so, we can get together, Rob. It's so simple. You can put your mini beta course on social media, something you love and it's easy for you. And you can offer this to 5-10 people, minimum amount of people to practice on, seriously practice and say, hey, you're my first beta course. I give you 90% off. It's awesome. In exchange, every Friday you get together and they give you testimonial. I always say, hey, what is your aha moment? at the end of my 4th week, I had 25 testimonials. How cool I am and it works and everything. Everybody's excited. And now you go, you launch a real course, your signature course. It's longer
Hmm.
because each time they ask you a question every Friday, I was like, it's module 4. Oh,
Yeah.
that is module 6. And now you have 12-week course. It just was created by people who got transformed with your love and your attention versus sitting there at the desk and type in your course and then try to market. And that's why women also complain a lot, not complain, but scared. People
Yeah.
are scared of sale, right? Rob,
Yeah.
have you heard that? I hate to sell. I don't know how to sell because it was taken out.
Hmm.
There's no, it's a disconnect, right? But if you already have a course that was written by your clients, right? So marketing is not my story anymore. Branding is my story, but marketing is the story of my client. So when I go to you, Rob, and I just sold you a story of my prosperity coach, my weight loss coach, now you're like, hey, what do you want me to sign? Because I didn't have to sell you
Right.
the academy, but I told you the story of my 2 clients. Does it make sense? It's
Oh
what I
yeah.
teach. I teach marketing from that perspective. And I guarantee, I promise, you don't have to sell ever again. They will come and ask you, what do you want me to sign? What do you want me to click? And it's like, oh my gosh, I love my life. Midlife rocks. It's what I want to say.
And that's what makes Olga an e-hero. So thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.